Well, that must be well prepared.
Well prepared.
Well prepared, and it has to be timely and short to the point, and it has to be effective meeting, effective communication as well. Also, decisiveness. Decision must come at the end of the meeting, and responsibility. Each person who's going to be which particular responsibility to be made, and then this is the what things that we dislike at the meeting. It's a time-consuming, less practical, less effective, not very any consensus, and sometimes it's monopolized by one person at the meeting.
Very good, action people. Okay, so look at this action agenda, right? So what are they focused on? They want timely, short to the point, decisiveness, effectiveness, responsibility. Come on, let's get this meeting over with. Let's make a decision and let's move on. They dislike time consuming. They don't want to be sitting around talking about a decision for 4 hours, right? They want an action. They don't like it when it's not practical. What do you mean you want to do this in 5 years? You know, that's not practical to us. And they also don't like it when people take over the meeting. They like it to be, everybody discusses and let's move on and let's keep going with this particular meeting. So very typical of them. They think the shortest meetings are the best. Let's come together, let's make a decision, let's get out of here and let's do it. That's kind of, it's sort of the, do you know the movie Rambo?
Yeah.
The movie Rambo? Oh, yes. Action people are Rambo. Let's go in there, let's do this, and let's get out again. So yeah, this is exactly what an action person likes. They want to know why they're coming to the meeting, what decisions are going to be made, who's going to implement this stuff. Let's get on, let's move on, we got other things to do. Yeah, very good. Yeah, well done. Okay, you can sit down. Okay, process.
Discussion, but I mean discussion is not very talkative about nonsense. I like different opinions. Some people don't like different opinions. They told, in my experience, they told me your opinion is impossible. It is not good. I dislike unrealistic. Some people think very much unrealistic. To make true fast decision, we need to think a little. I mean a little, not very much. I don't like silence. Some people are very silent on meeting. They are very silent and delay late time and action. And they arrive on meeting lately or 30 minutes hour, and they also delay in action. I have no time to do this. I'm very busy. They have many reasons to do action.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so very good for a process person. You can immediately see the differences between these two, right? They want to make a decision. She wants to make the decision, but she wants to talk about it. She wants to hear all the details. She wants to think about it from various perspectives. Maybe we don't make the decision at this meeting. Maybe we come back because we have to study some more. So a slower process. This group comes to the meeting with all their papers, all their details, everything organized. They know. And you'll say, oh, well, do you remember that last year we did this? And they'll say, oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
Last year at this time we did this and this.
I have meeting book. I always talk to my friends.
Yeah.
Last month meeting we did.
Yeah. That's exactly a process person. Okay, so the process person is this is the person that's recording everything that's happening.
Yes, records.
And keeping track of it, that knows all the details. You'll say, well, wasn't that in 2005? And they'll go, no. That was in 2010. They know exactly all of this. They want people to talk, but they want people to talk at a nice voice, not too fast, very organized discussion, and it goes around the table and takes their time. But they also like a planned meeting. So this is a group that if you say, listen, we're going to meet in 5 minutes to discuss this, they're going to be like, 5 minutes? Wait, I don't have time to get all my things together. I have to. they like time to know what's going to happen and what's going to happen during the meeting. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Very good.
Even this morning she gave me her library annual report. It's very detailed.
Very detailed. Yes.
With facts and figures.
Yes. When you're running a project, you want a process person on your team because they are going to keep track of all the data for you. They're
Yes.
critical, and they ask really good questions. You'll say, well, let's do this because it's going to do this. And they'll say, well, how do you know that? They're going to push back. They're going to ask you questions. They're not going to accept what you tell them. They're going to really go searching for more. So you can immediately see if you get action people and process people in a room, what's going to happen, right? Immediately there's tension between these two groups. Okay, thank you very much. That was great. Okay, people.
The short meeting, and we can feel free to tell about our ideas so that we can make the point and we can get every idea from the participants. And of course, clear communication. If we don't have clear communication, how can we know what the speaker is telling and how the listener can hear us? And the interactive, of course, only if we are interactive, we can collaborate well and we can share everything among the speaker and the listener. And listen to each other, we have mentioned it above, and focus on objectives.
Mm-hmm.
We have to focus on objectives. If we are not focusing on it, we will diverse from the topic and talking about the other things that are not necessary for the meeting. And as we mentioned, we like short meetings. If we are going to other topics, the meeting will be a long time and talking about unnecessary things. And the discussion and solutions. As I talk, that we value about the communication, we like to discuss about everyone's opinions in the group so that we can make the point for each person. And solution. We should have a solution for each problem of the topic we are discussing and achieve goals. Of course, we have to achieve the goals in order to be the goal. Like the reason of the meeting is to make something achieve. Like if we are going to solve a problem, if we have solved the problem from the meeting, we can consider that we have achieved the goals. And share responsibility. Like, we don't need a party pooper who are like always stay quiet in the meeting. And we want every different decision or ideas from each attenders. And yes, we all know that each one has his ability and his way of styles and his thinking. So any kind of like suggestion from him will be a help from our group.
Okay.
Our meeting. And miss responsibility, like it's for a backup if there is no like the person who is a volunteer for certain kind of like activity. Like when in the earlier this morning when you asked for going in front of the like class, let me check, this is a class, and to mention about a picture for us to draw.
Yeah.
Yes, for backup, we need some volunteers and miss responsibility person like that. And such a schedule. Yeah, as you suggested about your idea for your relationship with your husband and you, we realize that the time is very important for us. Only if we set up the time, it will also solve the problem for us. Like we like short meeting. Yeah, these are the things that we think the characteristic of a good meeting. Here comes a dislike about the meeting for our group. We don't like long meeting. Of course, we like short meeting. We hate long meetings. And late arrival and assertive. Like if there is a bumptious person in the class, he's always talking about what he wants and sharing about like everything he wants and not listening to others, how can we continue the meeting with that kind of person? And the influence equal to assertive person and dominant, as I said, party poopers. If there is someone who's not like suggesting his idea for the topic or the discussion, what's the meaning of his coming to the meeting? It would be better if he is staying at home and doing what he wants, watching a movie or reading books. Like, and another thing is a pessimistic.
Pessimist.
Yes. I have read a book about that pessimistic person. Like, if there is not saying that if someone has to point out the negative point of the view that someone is suggesting, but if there is someone who is always neglecting the idea supposing from the other people, how can we continue on the discussion of the topic? Like if I'm saying something new and some ideas of mine I'm sharing, and someone will come up and no, this is not good, this is so bad, and he will lay down my ideas, and when other people coming up and saying about it, he will do it again, and that will be a bad meeting in our ideas.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
So, people. First of all, look how much they wrote on both sides of the sheets, right? That's typical of people. They have lots of ideas, and it can take them a lot longer than any other group to get things done. Notice at the first, short and feel free, clear communication, interactive, listen to each other. All those are about relationships. Set schedule with agenda last on their list, right? Because they're really focused on the people and their interactions. And so they like to come to a meeting and they like to chit-chat with each other. How are you doing? What's going on? You know, there's all this time to kind of warm up before you actually start the meeting. Okay, flip to your negatives. Again, they have a lot of things about people. Assertive, influence, dormant, pessimistic, right? They're characterizing people in their meetings that they don't like. It's about this relationship with others. They're all about the relationship. So, it's a very good list for people. People, they're about the sort of, they can feel the tension in the room. They can feel whether this meeting's going to go well or it's not going to go well. And they like to leave a meeting laughing and having a good time. And, you know, if the decision was made, great, but, you know, it was still a good meeting if they had a good time with everybody in the group. So, one of the things I will say is when you're thinking about these styles, one of the things you want to get away from is being judgmental. So, I would not be using pessimistic. I would be using what is that person's style and why do they keep saying they don't want to do it this way. So you're rethinking yourself and not judging and not labeling, but more saying, okay, well, this person keeps saying no to me. How do I get them to yes, right? You have to think about that. But otherwise, good job. That was really good. Okay, our idea people.
We like exact time schedule.
A like time schedule, okay.
We start exact time and we'll stop.
Yeah.
And we can just, we want to have a future discussion. We need to talk and we need to be topic. And mutual respect. Because sometimes if someone argues, we'll stop. And mutual understanding. So because we can have different ideas and different points of view. So we need to have mutual understanding. And we believe that there's no win or lose. Or even I point out some fact and they point out some other time if their point of view is great. So we have to understand. There's no winner or loser. There's just the meeting is successful or not.
Yeah.
So for this, what we dislike is we don't want to take much or a long time, and we don't like talking a lot. And if we have no chance to discuss, so we don't like that kinds of meetings, and we don't like ready-made decision because they have already made decision.
Right.
And then we don't like argument. That's
Right.
fine.
Okay, so our idea people are the peace lovers, right? So they like the exact time and schedule. They want to discuss mutually because they're interested in ideas. They want to hear all the ideas. And what everybody thinks of this issue, they want to hear that. And that's really important to them because that's where the creativity is happening. So that's why they hate when somebody's already made a decision, because there's no creative process there. There's no chance to think of another idea. And for them, there's no win or lose because they're always thinking about, well, what's the best idea? Great, somebody else had a better idea, let's go on, let's move on. So they like meetings that are peaceful, but there's discussions, and there's great discussions about all these creative things that we could be doing in the future. They drive the action people crazy, because the action's, well, what are you going to do now? And they're like, well, we're still talking, we're thinking the big thoughts, we're going to, we're going to have to go back, and the process person's over here saying, we have to study this, we got to get more details. And the people saying, well, how do we know this is what people want? So you have different things happening at the meeting. So congratulations, really good job. Very, very good.